Bing, bing, bing. Here we go. We're live. It's the Azure Ventures Community Talk meeting, and we have Sam and Nicola and Forrest. Yay, here we are. It's a Monday, and sometimes Mondays can be a bit complicated. This one's gone okay. I don't know about for you guys. I'm getting towards the end of my Monday, about you guys. But yeah, so the thing we often do, actually, let me just share my screen, is we try and get some agenda items for the meeting the week in advance. I think I was the only one that submitted them. I've got one is this issue of alternating with a new members meeting,
Okay.
and two is about having our AV weekly contributor awards to recognize people in the AV community. Now, there's no requirement to have any agenda items or anything that you want to talk about, or just any questions. Nicola, was there anything on your mind as regards the community, or anything?
Yeah, I had to write what I told you that I was going to write.
Yeah.
How I got involved in the community, and how I started to understand everything, because when I joined in 2015. I was looking at that in my profile, and I think that it was August, I think. But I don't remember well, but yeah, I think that how I started to get more involved with everything.
Yes, and you were saying how initially, like, clearly for a couple of years there,
yeah,
it wasn't clear to you what was available.
No.
So yeah.
Or how to start with anything.
And then there was obviously a sort of a bit of a breakthrough, and now you're really involved, and yeah, so we'd love to allow more people to make that breakthrough as you did. And yeah, so yeah, you're planning to write that up, but you haven't done so yet.
Yeah.
That's cool. Anything else on your mind about the community, or anything at all?
Nope, not right now.
No worries. And Forrest, you're also relatively new to the community. Did you sign up for the community quite a long time ago?
No, I'm just getting involved, and I'm going through a code school, and part of the development is that you have to start getting involved with the open source community.
Oh, okay.
But this just seems like a really, like, the agile development has a lot of fingers and a lot of pots, a lot of different projects going. So it seems like a good community to get involved with.
Excellent. Yeah. Can I ask which is the code school in particular that you're?
Block.io.
Block.io. Is that?
Yeah. And if you just
yeah, I think I know. Yeah, but the block. Yeah. Cool. Good stuff. Oh, that's excellent. Yeah. And then, so did you have any items that you wanted to bring up for the meeting, or any questions about the Agile Ventures community at all that we could get into today?
Just, it's not really a main thing to add, but just where I should be getting involved, what's something pertinent. I've only really looked over the website one exactly.
All right. Indeed. Yeah, well, we can come round to that. Good stuff. Yeah, well, so let's go back then up to the top, and I guess, yeah, so the one of the two slated items was we've had occasional new members meetings. This was something that was proposed that we should have, and they've been run by different AV mentors. And interestingly, when we brand something as a new member meeting, we often get people who wouldn't necessarily attend the other meetings. Often get new people, strangely, and so that seems to have worked quite well, at least as a place to touch base with new people. But we've struggled to find a good repeating slot about when it would be. And as a kind of solution to that, I've kind of suggested that what we try and do is we alternate. So, like, this week we'll do Agile Ventures it's the community meeting, and then next week we'll try and brand it specifically and say, right, it's going to be the new members meeting, and we'll focus on new members in that meeting. And I you know, it may be that ends up being confusing and it doesn't work quite as well, but what that means is that at least I'll be around regularly to sort of do that. And yeah, does that make sense, what I'm saying there?
Yeah. Something I'm very interested in.
So basically what we mean, we would have a new members meeting every other week. Yeah, and I guess partly I'm bringing it up now because, you know, as people attending the community meeting, you might say, no, we shouldn't have that because we need to have regular, we should have a separate slot. But I guess you don't have strong feelings either way. It seems like a reasonable experiment to try alternating it for a few weeks and see how that goes.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So I think we'll just do that. And I guess then the action item for that becomes, for me, that I need to somehow work the branding. Annoyingly, we don't have a framework in website 1 to support like events that run every second week. So we're just gonna have to kind of like hack it and call it, you know. So I need to like rename the event to, you know, AV community / new members meeting. Oh, and that's the other thing that I meant to do, which is like, yeah, ensure the community / new NM meeting will ping the new members channel. And then I guess I've also got to make sure that I've got to advertise new members meeting in advance to new members. All right. So that's that. And then the next thing to go on to is yeah, the Agile Ventures Weekly Contributor Awards. And this is an idea that Federico brought up in the marketing meetings, that this would be a nice, you know, thing to have like a recurring. And I guess actually they're going to be, if we do this thing where we swap it, it's going to be fortnightly. But you know, there's lots of people putting in, you know, great contributions to Agile Ventures, and it would be nice to kind of recognize them and say, you know, like beyond the individual thanks that they get when they're doing the pull requests and that, and kind of and sort of celebrate. And you know, ultimately, you know, we can have like things that go in the website that, you know, they get like a little silver cup next to their name, but this kind of thing in the future.
Really cool.
Yeah. So, but we can add on that. I thought the thing to do is to just get started on it, and
I think it can become something interesting for showing up. If with time you can just show your profile on Agile Ventures.
That's right, absolutely. And we were looking at it in the website 1 meeting. We have a bit of a kind of a karma thing that gives points to people. And that's kind of nice. It needs to be, it's so much room for improvement. But yeah, if there's kind of like badges, prizes, things of like, you know, certain achievements being unlocked, and then that your Agile Ventures profile is showing that, I think that's you know, potentially you know, a nice positive feedback loop. But so I've been in discussion with the mentors and receiving nominations for the first ever recipient of the Weekly Contribution Awards, and it's my great pleasure to announce that the recipient of the first Weekly Contribution Award is Nicola. I just mentioned that Nicola has he's got so involved in the last the last few months. It's been amazing. In particular, he's upgraded local support from Rails 4 to Rails 5. Has now got involved in website 1 and is doing the similar sort of upgrade there. And so he's also got involved in the DevOps, which is fantastic. And so that's been a huge help for me. And yeah, really, I mean, I think it's of the order of several dozen pull requests now merged. And so I think, you know, there was general agreement that Nicola is well deserving of this first Weekly Contribution Awards, and your name will be added to the Weekly Contribution Awards on the website, and we'll be publicizing that more after the meeting. So congratulations, Nicola. Really, really well done.
Thank you very much.
All right, good stuff.
Feels awesome.
Yeah, yeah, and I think we want to get that, get that in the newsletter and so on and so forth. Yeah, good stuff. Well, then thanks so much for your contributions. We really appreciate them. All right. Well, so let's then, I guess, moving on. Yeah, we really look forward to, Nicola, you kind of writing up.
Yes.
Your understanding. I mean, I think that's the kind of, people who get really involved in Agile Ventures, have a lot of fun here. They do a lot of learning, and it's really great. Working out how we can communicate that better to people is a real, it is a real, nut to crack. So any insight you can give, that'll be fantastic when you have a moment. But yeah, there's no action item there. So I think the other things is just so coming on to Forrest. Yeah, so you were asking in a new member context, like where to get involved, what are the pertinent things, and you're saying you kind of looked at. I think we were helping you. Is website one? You've got it all set up, and the tests are passing for you locally.
And I just woke up and I was working for the past couple of days, but I recently tried. I just did a Git pull-up stream, or I'm going to see my page, but and then I did bundle install, and I'm still getting the same.
The QMake
error.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the same thing that you were stuck on. Yes. So yeah, currently stuck on installing on website one, and that's a common problem. And we could even spend time helping you debug it now. But I guess what I might do, rather than diving into that, since this is the community meeting, what I guess I would say is maybe we could give like an overview of like the ways to get involved in Agile Ventures. And so we've got various things going on. We've got these what we might call scrums that are kind of open Q&As, which it might be actually that the timings of them are not ideal for you, Forrest. But we've got there's the Martin Fowler scrum and the Kent Beck scrum. And is what happens in these scrums clear to you at the moment, Forrest, or are they just like some random words?
I get where they're kind of focused on a certain project, and it's just kind of a community meeting for that, and kind of where to go, or how would you summarize them?
Well, so these are special kind of open scrums where anybody can discuss any project and ask any technical question, but they're time boxed. So what we do is that people kind of go around and say, well, I have this, I've been doing this. And we try to replicate the kind of daily stand-up feel. And these happen Monday to Friday at 2 different times. They are at, this currently at 12 noon UTC. And this one is currently at 4:15 p.m. UTC.
And
go on.
No, I'm looking at the events, yeah, and I just got to start getting up at 4 in the morning, which honestly it does fit with my schedule. So okay. I'm not being scheduled for work. So,
but so are you in which time zone are you in?
Pacific, San Francisco.
Yeah, and so this is it's it is this one here. This one is that one. Yeah, I was certainly not expecting to see you at this one, but this one is maybe more passing sense. Anyway, whatever fits in with your visual. Yeah. The vision that we originally had and still have is that we would be having these scrums kind of every 4 hours around the world. We used to have, a regularly running Pacific scrum that ran at like 8:15 p.m. UTC. And was quite active for a while, but then people come and go from the community, and at the moment we're back down to these two. So this is currently not running, although if we could find people who were happy to run a scrum frequently at that time, that would be that'd be fun. But yeah, you can, anybody can come in. They're sort of openly linked to on the website, in the Slack, open to anyone. If people come in and like we're kind of saying, oh, I've got this private project that I'm working on and I can't share the code, but can you answer this technical question? We kind of say like, oh, well, it's sort of open source and for charity. I mean, but still, if people have questions, and there's open time, then it can be, we can cover anything. so we have the scrums, and they're there. You know, I sometimes wonder, you know, particularly I run these two. Is this, you know, a great use of my time? The people who do attend, I think, like when I, you know, talk in other meetings about should we keep on doing these, should we reduce the numbers? They're like, no, we like them. It's good. I think you know, a lot of people get value from that check-in and being able to get a bit of problem-solving support and help. What always surprises me is how few people we seem. We, you know, we tend to max out about 6 or 7. You know, occasionally we'll have 6 or 7 in the scrum, but the average on the week is more like 2 or 3, I would say. It goes up and down. I think people are maybe not aware that they can use these just to get help and support on what they're stuck on, or they're just shy about appearing kind of on camera with other people that they don't know. But yeah, so that's one of the things that we kind of offer as a service. Then we've got the Slack framework, and of course every I mean, you found already we've got the project channels, and then there's like specific, you know, help and support. There's the general tech talk where you can ask any technical question. We've got, you know, some special installation channels I think you've already been making use of, and of course the Slack is open to all and everyone. I mean, I try and encourage people do DM me saying, can you help me with this one little thing, and I say I'd love to, because you asked me in the group channel, you know, so that potentially everybody can benefit, or indeed someone who, you know, you get your question answered sooner. But I think everybody understand here we all understand Slack. The other thing is we have different kind of weekly meetings, and so we've just come out of we had the website 1 weekly meeting, and so then that's like, is it 4:30 p.m. UTC on Mondays? But so if you're targeting getting involved in a particular project, then working out when the weekly meeting for that project is probably a good wheeze. There are some projects where they interesting. We don't seem to see the people so much in the other scrums. We've got the SHF projects. We've got Phoenix 1, and they run kind of like their own scrums as well. And so they might have, for example, 2 meetings a week, and one is kind of a coordination meeting, and the other one is a scrum. Or there's different, you know, sort of models for different projects. And some of the project, I think they've sort of formed their own identity, and they're not. I guess they either don't know about what's possible with the general scrums, or they kind of feel like, well, I don't really want to sit around and listen to 3 or 4 people talking about what they might be stuck on, which is not related to our particular project. I'm interested in our particular project, and I want to do a scrum or a stand-up with some people who are all going to talk about our project, and it's going to be very focused on this topic. So they, you know, attend those events rather than the general ones. But if that makes sense. And so in terms of like the pertinent things about getting involved, you know, these scrums are here to help everyone. I mean, they're also in principle totally open to new members, and people who had sort of new member questions can be, and sometimes do, you know, they show up at the scrum and they might say, hey, what's this Agile Ventures thing for? And that's a perfectly valid question, and I'm always very happy to answer those questions in these scrums. But what's interesting is noticing that when we actually we brand something as a new members meeting, we get much more new members. I think people feel perhaps, you know, this is a scrum. That doesn't sound like the place where I could just ask, you know, what's it all about. But so, you know, to get more involved, there's, you know, in the scrums, people have different levels of availability. If you can work into some kind of rhythm, I mean, I've noticed recently we had Nicola and Stamatius and Brent all attending the Martin Fowler scrum. That may change now, but we got into a sort of a regular pattern where we're sort of like, and it tends to be a lot of discussion about the local support projects. You know, I think when you get into a pattern of doing things regularly at the same time, you start to build up a kind of critical mass. And so basically regularly participating in a scrum, or even just like regularly attending the same weekly meeting, you know, being on in the Slack channel, that's the way to kind of get more involved. And it can go from there. And I'll stop talking very soon, but I was going to, the last thing is this, you know, is then having, I think this is pretty much all the different sources that you can get help and support from. There are documentation and GitHub, and the onboarding process, as you're finding, Forrest, can be tricky. Like, you've got to start installing website 1. Although that kind of Capybara WebKit issue that you've got there, I think is one that you might encounter with certainly pretty much all of the Rails projects that we've got going on. But one of the options there that you could do, and I think is maybe use C9. I think it can be really frustrating trying to get involved in a project if it's like repeatedly I'm stuck on this install, I'm stuck on this install, I'm stuck on this install. I certainly could really relate to the desire to want to have everything installed and working on your own laptop. At the same time, yeah, I mean, this is kind of like, there's this feel you can be stuck on, like, oh yeah, if I just fix this one thing, then it will all work. Another approach is to kind of put it to one side and say, okay, so maybe we can deal with that, but try and maybe use an alternate platform on which to develop in order to contribute a bug fix or a chore or whatever, and then come back round to the installation process on your own system, so that doesn't blow out the sun. Does that make any sense?
It definitely does. And I definitely want to be working on the Ruby project, on the Rails project, because I'm mostly a Rubyist. So
sure, yeah. In which case, I mean, it's definitely something that we want to get fixed for you. I mean, I've got some more things I'll say, but I'll go.
Oh no, I was just googling C9, and apparently that's the there's some Counter-Strike tournament happening under that name.
Right. Yes, C9 is short for Cloud9.
No, I got it.
Yeah, and they're under C9.io. But so we also have some pre-prepared workspaces where we can just, it can be also tricky to set up these projects. I mean, this is another thing that we ideally it would be much simpler to get installed and working all of these projects. I would love a situation where people could press a button and they would just be delivered a Cloud9 workspace with all the stuff on it. I've got a few more things that I could say, but I'm just going to pause there for breath and a drink of water. And yeah, Nicola, any thoughts on it? I've said a lot. I mean, I'm a blabbermouth. But Nicola, any thoughts on any of this? Forrest, any other questions?
Yeah, I was thinking while you were talking that all those steps that you were like marking, they weren't clear for me at the beginning. For example, if I was thinking how I was getting involved, and I didn't know about the scrums or the weekly meetings, so I didn't know with what purpose they were being held. So I didn't know how to start participating if I was there in the meetings. For me, it was like, okay, I'm here, but I don't know what to do. So, yeah, I was thinking that maybe, for example, when we say in our main site, here, I should enters, when we say code, or we can talk about those scrums or
no, I hear what you're saying. So yeah, we got the landing page.
Something more interactive in order to let know. It's an idea.
Yeah.
You already thought about that. I don't know.
No, I think it's an excellent idea. I certainly think about trying to improve the content in these different pages. We do see from our analytics that people, so we got Google AdWords driving 10,000 people, more 15,000 people a month to this location, and we can see that like 30% of them are clicking through on the code, on the code thing. So that's like 1,000 or so or more people a month. And I changed this round slightly so that it had a button at the bottom saying "Get started now." We've got this kind of essay that I'm not sure how helpful that is. It's maybe an interesting essay. I'm not sure how. And we can see like 37% of the people get to the bottom of the page. I think potentially, if we somehow had, like way to get help with your code, with a couple of graphics. Like if the page was like just one thing long, and it said, "Come to any Scrum, get help with your code," and then it said, "Slack, come to Slack, get help with your code. You know, code's really hard. We can help you with your code." And like there was like a really bold message, and it was like, "Get started now." We could like, you know, the number of people who actually get to the bottom of it and click on it could probably double. And I mean, how many people would actually, you know, join the scrums or not? But yes, but in principle, you know, I mean, I've just got it set up now. If you go to this page, you can edit it. I've just switched on editing in the site. But yeah, if you wanted to write something to go in here, I'd be very happy to switch out what we have now with some new thing, or we can work together on putting like a new thing in there and do a trial for a month and see if we can improve on like this 37% we've got at the moment. Well, this is doing, it's in the last month. So like, I mean, it's not really a fair comparison over Christmas, but no, I guess the percentage in the page. But yeah, I think this is a fairly solid thing. But yeah, we should we can very much change this. Yeah. Come back in a month and see if we've improved the numbers.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Good stuff. Yeah. Great points. Yeah, Forrest, any other thoughts on any of the stuff said so far?
No, and I was actually, when you clicked over to that, I was clicking over to the Agile Ventures website also, and just taking a look around. No, it looks pretty good and interesting. So
yeah, because I mean, I think there's a lot of interesting things in there, and what we're trying to improve is like, you know, the clarity of, you know, finding out about all the places that you can get help. And I think I mean, we need a famous person like David Attenborough to do a documentary on how Agile Ventures work and release. We need a video really. We'll maybe one day we'll meet somebody who knows how to make these videos, and we'll get that done. The other thing I was just going to mention there before we wrap up is that we do have all of this. We have this premium side as well, where people can get extra support, and that we've got these different levels. So premium, the key, I mean, although there's lots of little individual benefits, I think the key thing here is that this is like priority code reviews. Like there's potentially a lot of people asking for help and support, but if you're a premium member, then the mentors will prioritize your code reviews. There's also, we've got like a jobs channel, tech test channel. There's basically some private channels that you get access to with the premium level. We've also got premium mob, and we have sort of mob programming sessions that run, and they are usually on particular topics, such as like it might be RSpec or Elixir Phoenix or React or what have you, where a group get together and program on C9 and, you know, work through some course materials or what have you. So we've got the premium mob, and then we've also got premium face-to-face, where you get this is like regular time pairing with an AV mentor, and we do like these are you know, premium levels that cost a little bit extra, but we do have free trials for all of these if you follow us on social media, and so that's the kind of thing. Like particularly if you're getting started up and you're stuck. Like so, for example, Forrest, you could grab a free trial of premium face-to-face with me, and I'd make an hour. We could sit down and get on C9 together, and, you know, get you started on a feature on website one. I'm very happy to do that. We have more details about those offers. So there's a premium face-to-face level, which I think Nicola already took advantage of. But yeah, that's the basically if you're So it's got links there. It's got an example of me, a video there of me doing a trial of face-to-face with Zmago there, and similarly for the mob offer. And we're Agile Ventures is sort of global, but we created a UK based charity, and it's we sort of rely on the premium subscriptions coming in, and also we do also have paid projects from some large sort of charities, government organizations, other things like, socially responsible stuff, and that sort of keeps us afloat. So we're always looking for ways in which we can find new clients, and premium members also become eligible to work on the paid projects, and then also find people who are interested in signing up for premium mob, premium face-to-face, and so on. Does that make sense? What they all are?
It does. It does. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, so we've actually now got, we've got about 50 premium members, and my time gets pretty full actually pairing with all of the face-to-face folks. But it's certainly been like, not everyone can afford these things, but the free trial is a great way of getting yourself unblocked. So that's that. There was so we've also got this other companion site that you may not have seen, which is called nonprofits.agileVentures.org, which is kind of like a landing site for charities and other socially responsible companies and government organizations that want to have software developed through Agile Ventures. And we've got this static site made in Middleman, and that has like different case studies of some of the software we've developed, and a little canned history of Agile Ventures, and you can sign up for the mailing list and so on and so forth. So that's all there that you might not have seen before. So we've also got sort of the client, and so now we also have another thing that's actually bringing in some small amounts of revenue is we have, so as well as those premium plans for individual members, we also have premium plans for organizations. So we have, if I can just find it, nonprofit basic support there. So we have a couple of these taken up now. So this is an organization that might have had a project developed for us for free, but then now it's going into production and they want to get like support for that project long term and so on, and we can offer that at various levels, and that's so that's also starting to be a useful thing. We need to kind of link that probably into this, but there's sort of two categories. We have people who come in and they want a completely clean build that they want to pay for to deliver by a deadline, and then there's people who we've developed open software on a voluntary basis, and they then want to start want to start paying for support because it's going into production. So there's sort of two different cases. Anyway, that's but I think then that's kind of an overview of all the different sides of Agile Ventures.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that we can say or talk about now that would be helpful, or I think are we done for the day?
Yeah, I think we are done.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right. Yeah. Well, I think we've got we had some action items already. I've got this one for the new members meeting, and I guess we've got one for myself and you, Nicola. Is so this is like new text / images for the code page. Can we get the numbers clicking through going up? All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, great to see you both. Thanks so much for coming along, and I hope to see you again real soon.
Awesome.
See you soon then.
Thank you both very much, and I'll talk to you both on Slack, hopefully.
All right. Nice one.
Okay.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Take care. Cheers.
See you guys later.